He sits on the House Homeland Security Committee. He is an Iraq and Afghanistan veteran, and I want to ask you about that in one moment. But first, let me ask you about this news that is coming from President Trump tweeting that Shanahan will not go forward with his confirmation. Instead, he's naming Mark Esper the new Secretary of Defense. What do you think of that?
No, I think Mark Esper is a great choice. He's a West Point classmate of mine, as is Secretary Pompeo, and I think that Mark will do a fantastic job.
Yeah. Why do you think there was that change, if you had to guess? And I just want to be clear, he's naming him as the new acting Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, it's really hard to know, getting into those nomination processes. There's so many different things that go on, and who knows? All we know now is that he's withdrawn, and Mark Esper is a great choice.
Okay, and how do you think that, you say he's a great choice, in what way? I mean, what do you think that he would do differently or in this current situation?
Well, Mark has been the Secretary of the Army now for some time and has, done a great job there. And I think he gets what's going on in the world, and he understands the DOD's role. So, yeah.
Let me ask you about everything else, all the news of the day in terms of Secretary of State Pompeo talking about what is going with Iran and moving those troops there. I know you were on the mission to the Middle East to capture Saddam Hussein, and you did have the opportunity to interrogate him for 6 hours. And one of the things that you talked about a lot was his invasion of Iran and Iran itself. Given that perspective, what do you think of the current moves, or the most recent moves, that Iran has made? Are we making things worse by bringing troops over there, or are we de-escalating the situation? What's your expert opinion?
No, I would say that this is just a part of the continuum. The president withdrew from the deal and then instituted sanctions, which have cost the Iranians probably $10 billion or so. And what they're doing is striking out to try to leverage Europe and Russia and China against the United States, and that's not going to work. The world will stick together, and especially if they start increasing the enrichment of uranium. Even Angela Merkel said earlier today that that will not be tolerated. So this is just a part of the continuum. The troops that are going there are mostly defensive, support assets. I think it was really wisdom of the president to send Mike Pompeo to CENTCOM, sort of a softer approach than sending, someone from defense. And just subtle and wise, and I think it just communicates to Iran that this is about diplomacy. We don't want war, but we're prepared if necessary. So I just think it's a part of the continuum, and hopefully we get Iran to the table, because the real issue is a nuclear weapon in Iran. I mean, a suicide bomb measured in kilotons is a whole nother level. So that's the real goal here.
How meaningful was it to have Angela Merkel come out with those comments and say not only that they wouldn't abide by more enrichment, but also saying that they're now joining the chorus of voices that do say that Iran is behind those mines that were implanted in those vessels in the Gulf of Oman?
It's huge that she came out today and said that, particularly as, Secretary Pompeo is making his comments very helpful, very supportive, and we are very thankful for her saying that.
Yeah. Congressman, I hope you come back soon. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.